The thought-provoking and mysterious play In the Solitude of Torun stole the spotlight at the 29th International Theatre Festival in Toruń.
And I have no intention of climbing back up. But you are mistaken if you think I regret it. I avoid elevators like a dog avoids water.
Their faces up close on the screen was quite, it was quite a surreal experience. It's not something I expected. It took me right into the set and their script in many ways.
It's nerve-wracking to be stroked when you want to be beaten. I insist!
Before the curtains rose, director Timofey Kulyabin sat down with Pulse of Culture to discuss the excitement of bringing his vision to the Polish stage.
For me, so personally, it's a huge honor to take part and to participate. And as I know, it's not just a festival, it's a kind of a competition, which is also very nice. But for us, the most important thing is to take part.
I might have come slowly, but full of hope, emptied of any desire I could name.
With so many thrilling entries, judging a theatre competition is no easy feat. The chair of the international jury at the festival shared his insights on the vibrant and diverse landscape of Poland's theatre community.
There's a huge difference between the shows, both the quality, the way of making, and also the topics they choose. Some are going into the direction of performance, which is a very different concept than theatre. In theatre, you fake it, and in performance you make it. You do it real. Whatever you do with your body or with your colleagues on stage, they don't present or represent a role or a character. They are themselves, with their very normal physicalities and maybe also with their very own stories out of their own life. And then you have classics. You have those huge Polish classics which last for 2, 3, 4 hours, and where it is hard for someone from outside to understand why are they still being done in this kind of full-scale performance.
One thing is certain. In the Solitude of Torun left a lasting impact on every audience member, sparking conversations long after the final bow. Not just because John Malkovich played one of the leading roles. Hello and a warm welcome to this special episode of Pulse of Culture, coming to you from Toruń, from the International Theatre Festival Kontakt. I am joined by two very esteemed guests, Ingeborga Dapkūnaitė and John Malkovich, stars of In the Solitude of Torun. So the play is captivating, but also a little bit dark and twisted. It has been interpreted in many, many ways. So I was wondering, what is your take on it?
Well, it is about forbidden desires. So because it's forbidden and because it's desire, it's twisted and it's dark, yes. So probably that, And the play is such that not only every time you read it you discover something new, but different people find different things that they associate it with. So I don't think there is one single thing what it is about.
I was wondering, it was created right in the 1980s at the height of the AIDS pandemic. So do you think that recasting, because originally it was supposed to be two males, right, had an impact on how we perceive it now?
Possibly, but I mean, it was a play known among theater people, sometimes liked, sometimes not liked. But I think people don't remember much of the past, no matter when and no matter what. So I think this production plays at its time in 2025, and I don't think people think much about its history now, as they won't think about this production when somebody else does another one.
We have a dealer and the buyer. So what commodity or service are they exchanging, if any?
Well, we never know. The seller is there to sell whatever he can, whatever the buyer requires. And in this play, the buyer tries to do that. The buyer never specifies. The seller tries to sell him something, but the buyer never specifies what he wants. He kind of wants the seller to guess it. And in this production, it's fairly specific, probably some fragment of a history that allows the audience to ascertain what it may be, but it's never spoken.
Some things are difficult to admit even to ourselves, right?
Sure.
Because it is an internal dialogue.
Sure.
This other character who appears at the very beginning, or not. That's how I see it. But
Well, your view is as good as anybody's. Because, as I said, maybe we are one person, maybe we are two sides of one person, maybe we are two people. I wouldn't want really to be so precise, and we have a director who knows better than us. We're just actors.
right. So, what is the role of an actor?
To fulfill the director's vision. You know, when you're an actor, of course you may, depending on how the director works, you may proffer a lot of ideas. You may have a lot of instincts and impulses and thoughts about the piece, or not. But essentially, when you're an actor, no matter what you do, you're a figure in someone else's dream, because it's not your dream. Initially, it's a playwright's dream, and then it's a director's interpretation. Like a Freudian interpretation of dreams, a director has an interpretation of the playwright's dream. We have one, but we're actually not the final interpreter of the dream. We're figures in the dream.
But then you can make your own impact, right, on these particular characters.
To a certain
We need to
extent.
serve the purpose of the play and of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we are part of the dream, if I can add it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be a decent part of the dream, or sometimes we can be not a very good part of it if it doesn't work. But it's a joint venture.
Right, and your creative cooperation has been quite lengthy, and I was going to ask you, how did it all start?
We met at the end of 1991. Ingeborga auditioned for a play in London that I was going to do first in Chicago and then in the West End. And I had heard about her through friends who briefly had an international theater festival for a few years in Chicago. And they thought she'd be a very wise choice for this play, and we found her, and she came on audition, and she was cast, and that was 1992, and we've worked many, many times together over the years on plays, movies, fashion movies.
But what is so special about your bond or the way you work together?
You can't, if you have a brother or a sister, you can't tell what it is that keeps you together. Right. And as I say, you can't make old friends. Mm-hmm. They are there. They're old. By now, it became, we went through many things in our lives together. Like things happened in our lives, and
many hundreds of nights on stage all over the world.
Yes.
Or on movie sets or what have you. So
it must have created a very special bond. So I was wondering, do you have any projects in the pipeline? Can you share with us a little bit?
This one will go on next year, I think, at least some. We've accepted dates in Korea and Seoul, I think, next fall. maybe something will happen next year. There's something else I would like to do maybe with Inga, but I haven't gotten around to doing it yet because I have my hands full with other stuff. But I doubt this will be the last time we work together.
I certainly hope not. But I also wanted to ask you, because you've performed this particular play in many countries, and it is, like we've established, quite dark and intimate. So have you noticed that some of the reactions were different in certain places than others?
Not so much, I think.
But also we tend to perform to very big audiences, and sometimes they're far away, so by the time we finish, sometimes I kind of think, are they still there?
We rarely perform it in intimate houses, very occasionally. So that makes it harder to judge when it's quite a big hall, this one. It's not that many seats, but it's quite a huge orchestra hall. And so that makes it harder to judge, but from what we've heard, the feedback we've heard, it seems to play well in all the places we've played. And I think all of the countries we've played in are quite used to pieces like this.
I was wondering, because you've been performing for a very long time, if you notice that the theater is changing in some ways, that perhaps some other people who are just entering the field have a different view on some of the things.
Hopefully they do.
I'm sure they do. I wouldn't know personally in particular. I mean, the last 3 productions I directed, so that would be one in France, one in Latvia, and one in Bulgaria. 4, let's say. One in England, one in France, one in Latvia, one in Bulgaria. So they were all with young people for the most part. I don't really notice a difference in that they want to be good in something, they want it to be compelling, and but I don't really notice a huge difference in a view of the world, because you're working not always just in what is the new fashion socially, politically, ideologically, what have you. You're working on a specific story and piece of work that's written. So that's what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that you enjoy performing here in Poland. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Malkovich, Ingeborga, Dapkūnaitė.
Thank you.
And thank
you
for watching Pulse of Culture.